Hello, my name is Ryan, and welcome to another edition of the Elias Express. Today I'm going to talk about one of my personal favorite things in all of theme parking, dark rides. Now, many people have different definitions of what makes a dark ride. We're going to go through a few of them. First, we're going to start with yourdictionary.com's definition of a dark ride. According to yourdictionary.com, a dark ride is an indoor amusement park ride in which guided vehicles travel along specially lit scenes, often with animation, sound, and special effects. Now, to me, that's a very broad statement, and I like to break it down to be a little more specific. My definition of a dark ride is, excuse me, a theme park ride in which individuals are transported in vehicles along a path that tells a story or attributes to a common theme. And for me, that's the biggest part. Attributes to a common story or a theme. Now, many people ask me, hey, Ryan, what do you consider a dark ride? Is this a dark ride because of X, Y, and Z? Is it not a dark ride because of X, Y, and Z? One of the first questions they always ask me are simulators dark rides? Now, you have rides such as Body Wars back in the day over at Epcot and the Wonders of Life Pavilion, or you have rides such as Star Tours, which you still see today. Now, take Star Tours, for example. Great immersive queue line. You see C-3PO, R2-D2, you see some droids in there. Really makes you feel like you're about to board a Star Cruiser. However, when you get onto that Star Cruiser, what you see is, well, essentially a spaceship, which you board, and the spaceship is behind a big screen. The spaceship moves back and forth, left and right, depending on what the story in front of you is telling. Now, unfortunately, because it doesn't travel along a guided path, the answer to that is no. It is not a dark ride. It is a flat ride, like a merry-go-round or a carousel, which we'll discuss the differences in a later episode as to what those are. But no, it's not a dark ride. It's a flat ride, plain and simple. Now, rides such as Ratatouille, rides such as Spider-Man, or rides such as Harry Potter The Forbidden Journey are those dark rides because they have screens and use the simulator aspect of that to tell the story. Now, it does travel along a guided path. It attributes to a common story or theme. And unfortunately, the screen does tell part of the story. I'm not a fan of screens because I feel like I'm in an IMAX theater and I'm on a simulator. And to me, that's just pure laziness. Put an animatronic in there because to me, an animatronic really puts you into an immersive experience. But back to the question is Harry Potter, are these rides dark rides? Unfortunately, they are a dark ride. You know, it's really unfortunate to say that, but by my definition and by most people's definitions, they are dark rides. Now, you look at a log flume when you go to Doherty Park, you look at a log flume when you go to Six Flags. What is a log flume? It's essentially a guided vehicle or log, quote unquote, that travels along water, and you have various vicarious different drops that you go throughout. To me, that's not a dark ride because there's no real theming involved besides maybe a few trees around you, but it's not a dark ride because there's no animatronics, there's no lighting, none of that. However, you take a log flume such as Splash Mountain, where you tell a story of Bear Rabbit and Bear Bear, and you see all the friends from Song of the South. And you more so feel like you're traveling in that log throughout the story. So yeah, because of the theming elements involved, it is a dark ride. Theming can make or break a dark ride, whether it's as simple as one animatronic, or whether it's simple as hundreds of animatronics that are in front of your face. It immerses you into the experience, and to me, that's what a dark ride truly is about. Immersing you into an experience where you don't feel like you're at a theme park or an amusement park. Now, according to yourdictionary.com's definition of a dark ride has to be indoors. Wrong. Take Test Track, for example, which occupies the old World of Motion building over at Epcot. Most of it takes place inside. However, the grand finale of that is outside. Or a better example, Radiator Springs Racers over in Disney's California Adventure in Anaheim, California. Most of it takes place inside, but the grand finale, the race, which is literally in the name of the attraction, takes place outside. So no, dark rides don't necessarily have to be outside. A lot of them are inside to have the control of the elements in which you want to put your rider or passenger through. But you could also be outside too a bit, and it's not necessarily tit-or-tat for that. So no, it doesn't have to be inside at all times. Now, I love going to Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey or any kind of thrill park ride. I love going on huge roller coasters. I love going on a roller coaster. My personal opinion, the best one roller coaster in the world, El Toro, or the second fastest and the tallest roller coaster in the world, Kingda Ka. I absolutely love the thrill of that. There's no theming about it. You know, El Toro, maybe you're getting whipped around like a ball, but you don't pass any coolly lit scenes or animatronics like you wouldn't say Space Mountain. You feel like you're in space. Great immersive queue line, great immersive ride, great immersive execute. Big Thunder Mountain, where you feel like you're in the Wild Wild West. Great immersive queue, great immersive kind of execute, but really immersive when you're in there. And most of Big Thunder Mountain is outside, but you really do get the sense that you're not in a theme park, that you're actually in the Wild West. I would rather go on Space Mountain any day than El Toro, hands down, even though it's nowhere near as fast or anywhere as thrilling. But to me, the theming element really makes the ride worthwhile. Now, not all roller coasters are dark rides, and not all dark rides are roller coasters. It's really subjective to the ride that you're on. Now, the history of dark rides dates back all the way to the 19th century, when what they were called pleasure railroads. Not necessarily doesn't have to be in a theme park or a carnival, even though some of them were, but a lot of them were in a park or just a place where families would go to gather. Essentially, a mini railway in which would take you along a bunch of different scenes. Some would even be like a natural waterfall or different rocks. They even got to the point where you do cardboard cutouts, and that would be essentially what your theming is. And that is really where the dark ride started off at. You know, take a turn to 1901. The first really official dark ride would be what's called a trip to the moon. And a trip to the moon is a single rail dark ride, which back in 1901 told the story of what they would thought a trip to the moon would be. Obviously, it's a lot different now, but it is really the first step towards making a dark ride. And all along the 1900s, you saw the debut, or the infamous or famous, depending on what side of the coin you're on, Tunnel of Love. Now, for those who don't know, a Tunnel of Love starts off before you board the ride. You have males on one side of the wall, women on the other side of the wall, and you would get paired up, and whoever you match up with is who you're going through the Tunnel of Love with. Essentially, you get aboard, oftentimes a swan, quote unquote, and you would go through these different theming, gushy elements, light up parts, a bunch of different cutesy music, and at the end of the ride, you're either having your arm around the person or your back's turned like you hate them. It was really a step forward motion into creating dark rides. Now, in the 1930s, the first first ghost train opened up in Blackpool Pleasure Beach over in England. Now, what a ghost train is essentially a dark ride, obviously, traveling on a path, going through different spooky, scary elements. Spooky, scary would be the attribute to a common theme. Now, whether you have a vampire jumping out of you, a spider just falling down the walls, or blood and guts to your left and right of you, it never really told a full story. Essentially what it was just, you're going on this vehicle, and you're going to get scared, attributing to a common theme. Not like the sophisticated dark ride or ghost train you would see in the Haunted Mansion with years to come, but it was a step forward in motion. Now, dark rides are always consistently changing. Dark rides always have new ideas coming forth, whether it's the animatronic of Abraham Lincoln, which really was a milestone into the theme park industry, or whether it's, the screens you see today. In my opinion, our dark rides are going to be more prominent in the future than they ever have been. With that being said, my personal opinion, what a dark ride could be, imagine going on a ride such as Pirates of the Caribbean, and instead of Captain Jack Sparrow jumping up from behind a barrel or staying in one spot, take the animatronic aspect of that and combine it with the robot. So this figurine can move free range throughout the ride. Now, that would be really cool. I believe we have the technology for that. So who knows? Maybe next time you're on Pirates, you'll see an actual sword fight. How cool would that be? I'm really looking forward to the reboots and looking forward to the imaginations that are going to come with dark rides. And we're looking forward to seeing you every single Monday through Friday here on the Elias Express. Now, what's going to make up the Elias Express? Well, a bunch of things. And Mondays, we're going to take a look at different types of attractions or rides, like we did today with dark rides. Next episode, we're going to take a look at merry-go-rounds versus carousels. Every Tuesday, we're going to visit the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. Every Wednesday, we're going to visit the Disneyland Resort over in Anaheim, California. Every Thursday is going to be a random day. So whatever's on my mind, whatever is popular, you never know, it's going to be a random episode on Thursdays. And every single Friday is going to be, your creations. So pretty much if you play Roller Coaster Tycoon or you play Planet Coaster, leave those links to the attractions below. If you have a Steam Workshop, it's even easier for me to access them. I'll feature them on the ride. I'll feature them on the show, and I'll give you my personal honest opinion, and I'm sure the viewers will as well. For the first 3 weeks, until we get a few viewers in, I'm going to be showing you my personal creations of different various Disney rides or original dark rides that I've made up. Well, until then, we'll see you tomorrow. Now it's time for me to go back to the paper route.